Hello, hello, hello.
Hey.
Welcome to Therapy Rebranded, where we're consistently inconsistent. Ding. I'm here again without Rachel. Last time I promised for now. And we are starting with a guest who's my other best friend, Patrice.
Hello.
She is only here because she's my friend and we worked together previously. However, she does do a lot of cool things. Like she's in school right now to be a music therapist.
I am.
She's done some really cool jobs in the medical field in terms of working in ERs that are trauma level 1. So we both bond over intense jobs.
Yes.
Apparently we love that shit.
We love the drama.
Speaking of the drama, let's get into the Reddits.
Please.
All right. I found out my boyfriend of 2 years was cheating on me after an ATV accident. For context, my now deceased boyfriend traveled for work out of state and out of town. He was also in dirt bikes and ATVs. So about a week ago, he was in an ATV accident that left him in critical condition, and doctors didn't give any hope of survival. Most of his stuff were missing, including his phone, but the next day we got the phone back, and that's why I went through it and found out he had been cheating on me since we started dating, while I was pregnant and mostly when he was out of town and out of state. Imagine going through the phone thinking like you're gonna see like, oh, I miss him, remnants, reminders, and you're like, that nigga's a dog.
Oh my God.
Why do people think they're going to find anything else?
Because they believe the bullshit.
I love to believe we're the exception.
Most of the stuff we're missing, including his phone, blah, blah, blah. But the next day we got the phone back. That's when I went through it and found out he's been cheating on me since we started dating while I was pregnant and mostly when he was out of town and out of state. He had multiple dating apps where he had multiple hookups. He talked to dozens of girls on all social media apps. He had a lot of photos and videos of his affairs, and even the day of his accident, he was with another girl.
The day of is crazy.
He died cheating on me is nuts.
He died cheating on me.
There's a little nugget for
The
you.
guy doing what he loved most, cheating on his girl.
A hero.
Or, yeah.
I was devastated and heartbroken at the same time because I never suspected a thing. He seemed like such a good person. I feel like everything was a lie and that he never loved our family. I have so many questions and no answers because he passed a few days after the accident. I'm so confused on why he did the things he did, why he wasn't honest. I would have let him go so he could live his life the way he wanted. No, honey, he wanted you and other women. He was living the life he wanted, babes.
Absolutely, that part.
And how?
Sorry for it, because he travels for work. He was cheating when he was traveling for work.
I was going to say at least he was keeping it classy for a minute until that whole cheating on her on the day of.
Yeah, he's doing it in town too, clearly.
Yeah.
Sorry for any bad grammar first time posting. Such a woman thing to say. I just had my life destroyed, but I hope the grammar wasn't wordy.
Yeah, a battered, abused woman.
Also, as if because it's the first time writing on this platform, so I don't know how to spell.
So if you're in this position, what are you doing?
Oh, man, this is a hard one because,
First of all, do you guys look in the phones?
Oh, yeah. You can't have, it's so hard not to. No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Really? Okay.
Maybe not habitually, but,
I'm going to photos first. I'm not, you know what's wild, though? I'm not even going in there thinking he's cheating. That's not what you're thinking about when you're in crisis.
That would have been the last thing on my mind.
How did she get in? Is his phone unlocked? Does she have the password?
I can't believe that you guys wouldn't like have just the natural inborn thing. Like I'm about to look in his photos, like just that this is a violation of some degree, like that it wouldn't hit you. No,
of a dead person.
He's dead. Yeah, absolutely.
I'd be like, he'd want me to look.
No, I would be like, I want things. I don't think so. My dad died, and I wish I could know more. Like, I feel like it's also, like, more, you want information, like, when you're grieving and you're mourning, like, you want to know. Like, you're curious, you're sad, you want to feel connected to them.
Yeah.
You're never going to get new things, and, like, getting something in the phone feels new.
Yeah.
So, that's where I'm at.
That's a good point.
Wow. I don't know a guy, like, I feel like I don't know a person who would want someone to look in their phone when they die. And,
I don't think
it's not just because they have shit to hide.
I don't think anybody wants it, but I think you feel like you're telling me that, like, if your kid, if God forbid something happened to, like, a kid or a partner, like, you'd be like, privacy?
Yeah.
Like
your kid.
You wouldn't go through a box of their things.
What's in my phone that anyone needs? Like, I lived a life with you.
Context.
I lived with you. I raised you. Like, what do you mean? Like, that's just digging.
No,
for
you
more
going
shit.
into other people's stuff. Yeah.
Oh, wow. You guys are some entitled weirdos.
It's a piece of you, in a sense, and it's the last
I don't know.
piece.
I just feel like you're trying to rationalize grief. Like it was so intentional and so this or that, and she should have been in her right mind, and she should have been thinking these things and
Not
thinking
really.
about his
I'm not
wishes.
trying to shame her. I'm
Well,
really
you are.
not.
You just called her a weirdo.
Yeah, Gabe.
No, I called you two weirdos.
No, you called her a weirdo because she did it.
That's true.
Okay.
But it's
true.
I don't know. I'm very interested that this is such an automatic thing for you guys. That there's no pause.
I'm very intrigued by the fact that you read all of this and that's what you got from it.
Well, no. The first thing I said is that was pretty ghoulish to cheat the day up. Like, I mean, that is the worst. What you're really making me see is the importance of cell phone security and to tighten up.
I don't know why she has his password.
But don't you think she deserved to know that?
Oh,
I know. I wish if I was her, I would wish I didn't know that. I would have immediately put the phone down and wish I died in bliss. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I'm not even
help
kidding.
her life to know?
I'm not even kidding. I wish
I'm just a nosy bitch, so I would want to know.
I think that's what we're getting down to.
Everything.
I don't feel like if anything that I literally feel like if somebody went through my phone, it wouldn't like tarnish a relationship I have with anybody. I'm being dead ass. No, I'm being so serious.
You don't think that people would read it and get like miscontextualized things? You know how people, when they look for something with a certain angle, I guess, I don't know.
No. People might judge my porn, like what I watch.
Yeah, you gotta actually.
Like I don't.
I know I would.
Yeah, but I'm sure.
No, I think that I'm not in a position to judge on that.
But no, like people might like see some naked photos that hurt their feelings, but I literally like there would be nothing that would tarnish my relationship, and I actually don't know why you're not offloading these apps when you're not cheating, my guy.
All right,
on to the next
one.
Yes. My 27-year-old cousin slept with a 16-year-old, and my family is unbothered.
What a sentence to start
the white
this
trash.
off.
My cousin, 27 male, was the manager at a restaurant owned by his stepdad. While he was working there, he slept with a 16-year-old employee. Her parents found out about it and pressed charges. Can we just go back to my cousin was a manager at the restaurant owned by his stepdad. So your cousin had a job that was handed to him.
Yeah.
And then he fucked one of the employees carelessly.
White people.
And then he said, my entire family is acting like this is no big deal. Everyone except our grandma lives near a school. So he had to move in with Granny. She takes ridiculously good care of him. She does his laundry, makes and serves him 3 meals a day, cares for his cats. She was taking him to and from work until he brought a brand new muscle car of some sort. He still lives there rent-free and is absolutely spoiled, all because he committed a freaking crime against a teenage girl who worked for him. His brother is a cop, and they have a younger sister who says that it's not a big deal. My mom says that she feels sorry for him for having to register as a sex offender, and she doesn't think it was that bad. My dad says 16 is old enough to know how to say no. It's insane.
Oh my God.
She don't move like no virgin.
Look at them hips, though.
Oh.
If his 27-year-old had even thought about having sex with me, my parents would have murdered him. How can they not feel the same way about this other girl? I'm just sort of screaming into the void about this. It was on my mind tonight, and I'm feeling particularly bothered by it. Yeah.
Do you feel like she hates this cousin on a different level, like besides this?
He was probably always a douchebag. I mean,
Yeah.
You don't go from nothing to this.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to defend the guy at all. I'm just truly curious.
This reminds me of like just bear with me now. This reminds me of a completely different version of like when all of these kids found out that their parents were like racist, like during like some of the Trump stuff coming out and like the things that they were like backing on Fox News or like being like, no, he's right about this. Mm-hmm. And like, we do have these kind of immigrants and all of these things. And like, they all had this big, really like surprised reaction. I'm sure because they like saw their parents as people who were like not like that or wouldn't view the world like that or think like that or were a different kind of Republican or whatever or wholesome or sweet in some way. And like this opinion about the world doesn't match that. Now I don't know what to do. This reminds me of that in a way more magnified way, like a worse situation because it's like she had this perception of who her family was and like she's being exposed through this event, how they feel about it. And she's even bringing up like, oh, basically that her dad would have freaked out if someone did this to her. And like, I think you're realizing that like how your parents feel and treat you is probably not how they feel about the rest of the world. And that's kind of very similar to, I think, like maybe like the Trump views and some of the like anti-immigration stuff. And I just feel like it just reminds me a lot of that, if that makes sense, of like this, like you're having this big shocked response to like who you thought your parents were versus who they are now and like figuring out what to do with it.
Yeah.
And I think like there isn't a good like solution.
That's what I was going to ask you guys. What is the appropriate response for that family?
I think the appropriate response is condemnation that he did something wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
what does that look like though? You know what I mean?
Verbalizing that he did something wrong and that it was wrong. Like,
yeah.
I
mean, I totally agree, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm just
Good
trying
old
to think
family shun, you would think. I don't know.
I don't think shunning is the answer. I do think that he should have lost his job.
Oh, yeah.
As a manager. I don't know if he did or didn't, but I think he should have.
That would be interesting context, actually.
And I think it doesn't seem like he did because he says he got a muscle car to drive to work. So I'm guessing he did.
Which, by the way, just slam dunk for the white thing. Right? There's now
They're
no
all
other
white.
option.
Absolutely white.
Yeah.
Absolutely white. I think I think verbalizing that it's wrong. I think that grandma babying him and letting him live there run free was probably going to happen regardless. Grandma's probably just glad not to be alone. And you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like there's like, she's like happy to be doing this.
Even gives her purpose.
This is controversial, but I do understand why they are all like, he doesn't deserve to be a sex offender. Not that I necessarily agree with that, but I think that when we think of sex offender, we think of which is like pre-puberty. And so I think for them, like, well, because she went through puberty, like they're not saying this, but like the culture around it is very different. Mm-hmm. And like she could have consented in 2 years and in some states it's legal. And like, I think it makes sense for when you love somebody to do mental hoops to be like, they're not a bad person. A lot of people do that. That is like the urge. Mm-hmm. But I think as her, you're realizing that like, maybe the women in your life don't back other women and the men in your life treat you a certain way because you're a woman they love, but they don't necessarily respect women. Like, that's where I was kind of getting with, like, the politics stuff is, like, you're getting bits and pieces into, like, a bigger picture. And Grandma's fucking weird that she even wants a 27-year-old living there and is taking care of him. No fucking way. All right, last one, the work one. Thought we could segue into this work conversation.
I like it.
You guys, when we get off of here, get off of the live, we're going to shoot the part for the Patreon. Some of it will end up on YouTube, but and talk about our work experiences.
It's good, yeah. If you like work, whatever, nitpicky bullshit, corporate stuff, this is like apex that.
Oh my God. We have actual recordings from HR meetings. So you guys are in for a treat. All right. Time theft. One of our coworkers regularly leaves early and gets someone else to clock them out at home.
This is called buddy clocking, by the way.
Okay.
I did a commercial for that, like a comedic commercial a long time ago. I'll show you later. Yeah.
What are the consequences for us if they get caught and it's one of us on camera clocking them out and covering for them? Whoever covers for them and clocks them out will be fired. We all do the same job, so we also have to cover the workload and hide the fact that they have left, but it's only our department and that is affected, so I don't think anyone else suffers from this. It is a bit annoying that they get to leave and we have to stay, but not annoying enough I would report it. I just want to know if I'm risking my job not disclosing where they are or clocking them out when we leave. Edit. To say I personally am not usually the one doing the clocking out, just the covering.
Usually.
I also don't want the coworkers that physically do the clocking out getting in trouble, as they're extremely helpful and nice people.
Quit being a bitch. Then.
Anybody who's going to be caught on camera is getting fired.
Oh, yeah. On the spot.
On the spot.
Yeah.
They're not going to fire the whole department for knowing and covering.
No.
And they're an unsophisticated moron.
But you should deny it.
Yeah.
If they ask you. Don't ever say you did it. Don't ever be open about it. And this person's clock is running, because I highly doubt that every single one of your coworkers is okay with this and not just taking note. I highly doubt it. That every single one else is like, yeah, we're on board. Other people are having question marks too. Yeah. This won't be going on for much longer, so I hope you're not participating much, because they will be running the cameras back. Back.
As soon as they start questioning one person, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Correction. Everyone involved should be sacked. This makes everyone look bad. The person leaving early is a piece of shit, and I'm bringing all their friends down with them. If they're stealing time, I wouldn't put it past them to steal property or money either.
Oh, God. They'd even murder you.
I wish they would have said how much time it was. I want to know if it's like a sob story where it's like 20 minutes early because daycare closes at 5:30 and they have to get there, or if they're like our age and they just don't want to be there. Like, I'm like very curious what the context is that everybody would be on board. It's got to be a sob story.
Especially just as we're about to listen to this thing, there are jobs where they will fucking nitpick you over 1-2 minutes. Yeah. So it's like sometimes it's almost survival, right?
100%. I've worked at 2 different jobs where 2 different idiots stole time and both got caught and promptly fired. This is a serious offense. They're literally stealing money, and whoever clocks them out is an accomplice. Can I just say there's something really tight-assed about... Were you good?
Yeah, my allergies are so trying not to be like in the camera, in the mic.
There's something really tight-assed, just really uptight about, like, you feeling like worried about your company being stole from unless it's a small business. I'm not saying that it's not wrong. I'm not saying all the shit, but it's just like there's something about, like, it's like when you go to Chipotle and they skimp you on your scoop. Like, is the chicken coming out of your budget? Is it coming out of your pocket?
Coming off your table?
Now, I'm sorry to interrupt this wonderful check-in, but it got a little too personal. So if you'd like to hear the rest of it, subscribe to us on Patreon. Now, back to the show.
We're doing this job, but every time we get a new manager, they want us to do something differently. And at the time, the hospital we're working at is trying to save money. And so they hired a management company to come in and, like, help them, like, save costs. And this is just my belief. This is alleged. But I think the company that they hired, that's going to be the managers who do this HR, we share this HR interview. I think that they hired them because they wanted them to come in and be like, listen, transport is chronically understaffed. We don't want to staff any more people, make them as efficient as possible. I think is what happened.
So for this meeting, what was, like, what part of the day, can you set it up, like how it happened?
So it was during day shift. I must have been working either at a day shift or it was a 2 to 10. So they were still there till 5.
Yeah.
And I'd probably just been working for a little while, and they said they sent me a pager message,
which we can't respond with a page. We have to call.
Yeah, you have to call.
Clunky.
Yeah, so I sent a little cryptic message like, yeah, we need to speak with you in the office. So I called and I'm like, oh, hey, what's going on? They're like, oh, yeah, we just want to check in. They didn't even call it a coaching originally. They were like, we just want to check in about a couple things, like just stop by the office.
And you had no vibe this was coming, like other people hadn't been in meetings, like this is your...
No, Patrice was one of the first they pulled.
Yeah, I was one of the first.
She was one of the first.
Targeting.
They were like,
she's the main problem bitch.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Story of my life.
All right. No. And then I can say it because I'm a white person. Actually, I don't even need to say it. These are white women. Like, you're going to hear the tones and the patterns. Yeah. It's just crazy. But anyway.
So you get pulled into this meeting and they're just like, we have to talk.
Okay. Checking in.
So here's our first clip.
Hi. Come on in. Have a seat.
What's going on?
We're having a coaching.
Is that a thing I need a union rep for?
It's not.
I'm not signing anything at the end of the meeting. Okay, just gotta double check, it's my right to have a rep, so.
We would deny you that right.
I've actually had that almost happen before.
That right.
No way.
Okay, so I wrote this up so that you can actually see it.
Okay.
So I want to talk to you about your attendance. Okay. So have you seen the policy in the breakroom?
Of course.
Okay. And you remember us talking about it?
I remember you guys talking about it, yep.
Okay. So this is your file. This is your attendance tracker.
Okay.
So every tardy is considered a 0.33 of an occurrence. So in the last, 2 months, just under 2 months, you've acquired 3.6 occurrences, just in tardies. Okay. So, what are you thinking?
I'm just here to receive the information. You can keep going.
Okay. So in the attendance policy, it says in here
Sorry to interrupt. Do you want me to log out of teletracking right now?
No, I know.
Okay.
You're fine.
All right, that's the end of that clip.
Okay, so they pull you in and you ask right away, you're like, yo, like, should I get a union rep?
Before I can even finish my sentence, no, you don't.
So the reason why...
We'll always give you
The
that.
reason why is when you're... Okay, so I don't know. People who haven't been in a union don't know this. Like, when you're in a union, you pay money out of your check every time you get one to have the union exist, to pay for the union to meet and do the things they need to do. And on top of it, you get a rep. So you get somebody who's supposed to come with you to any meetings where you're getting in trouble and support you. And they often are really big allies, actually, because they know the rule book front and back.
Yeah.
And the union has different rules than what the hospital has, and they agree on contracts together. So whether the hospital wants that to be their policy or not, if they said the union can have it as their policy, then they have to adhere to it. So you were being smart of being like, I sense the bullshit. I need my rule person.
How'd you know to record? Like, I mean,
why did you decide to record?
No, I've never done that in my life. There's only like a couple reasons that people record conversations. Either one, you're batshit crazy, or
check. No, I'm just kidding.
or you have been getting gaslit so hardcore that you feel like you literally have to take it here. You feel like you have no other choice but to take it here. And that's what happened is I felt so like, just like, you guys are freaking like, you're telling me the sky's not blue. You're telling like just all kinds of things. I was like, I'm not going. And I kept feeling like they were catching me with my pants down intentionally, like pulling the pants down and then catching me with the pants. So I was like, you know what? No more am I going to talk with you guys without it being documented. It's too sketchy. It's too shady. Like, I feel unsafe. I need to document this.
Well, and starting the meeting by saying, you've seen the policy in the break room, right?
Yeah, like,
okay, so you have seen that? Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, it's...
You just already know. You can tell.
And at the time, you were already looking for another job because you had realized what kind of managers we heard. So this wasn't even like in an attempt to keep your job. It was like literally to keep your sanity because... I remember you sending it to me to be like, I need you to listen back to see, like, hear if you got what I got.
I'm not, like, this is,
because you were feeling crazy. And this wasn't the first managers who have, like, pulled bullshit, but to this extent it was. Like, this was another depth. Like, I felt like every other manager, either one had a valid complaint or two, they just, like, said the complaint and put it on record. They didn't do this back and forth. They were just like, I'm putting this on record. This is
so personal.
Yes.
And we should say, too, all of this stuff is petty bullshit.
Yeah.
We're not building towards some, like, amazing, like, it's just the height of apex corporate, like, fucking pettiness.
But the pettiness is that, and this is how they get rid of people in unions. They use attendance to get rid of people because the union protects you in a lot of ways, but it doesn't protect you against tardiness. And so what they do is they micromanage shift workers who often very much have hectic, busy lives. We're not people with a shit ton of money. We're usually not people with stability at home often. And they know that shift workers are going to have things come up, just like salaried workers do, but they get flexibility. And if they want to get rid of you, they will bank on every crisis that ever happens in your life to get rid of you.
It's just low-level cop shit.
Yes.
It's the exact same thing as law enforcement.
That's a good
descriptor.
Yeah. So now here's clip 2.
Obviously, we want you here on time. We want you here ready to work. We want you, every 5 minutes you're late, think of the patient that we're not getting to. Think of someone else who's waiting for an assist that you can't get an assist. Think of, if we're already short, now we're late, we're just compounding on that. So, this, I want to draw to your attention. Attendance is a slippery slope. The problem with attendance is if you don't write it in really quickly, it catches up to you really fast. Okay. So with that said, that is that.
Well, look, there's another incident on there that's typed out about me not getting to my break fast enough.
Yeah, and that's just our notes. That doesn't count for attendance.
So how long did it take you to walk from MRI to the break room? Because it says that you did it. I just was curious. It doesn't say how long it took you. I was just curious.
It takes me 2 minutes to get from the break room to MRI.
Saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, do you think you're the biggest cunt here?"
So
I can get cunty,
So wait,
okay?
so this is context too. So they pull her. I know this front and back, so I'm just saying it for you. But so they pull her like into this meeting, and when they do, they pull out this piece of paper that shows like, here's all our evidence against you. And on the piece of paper, there are things that aren't a part of the meeting that they wrote negatively about her.
Yeah.
And so she asked a question about it, because why would you show me a piece of paper that says she's lying about when she goes on her breaks? And I walked it and not think she's gonna say something. So then Patrice said something like, yo, like, so basically what it showed on the piece of paper is that they've been clocking by the minute when Patrice takes her breaks, and they're building a case against her. And by building a case against her, they wanted to prove that it took her longer to get to the break room than it showed on her pager.
Why does it say that I'm a trifling ass bitch right there? Oh, that's just for my personal notes. That's
no,
not
literally, don't worry about that.
Yeah. That's not
Why
part
are
of
you
this
showing your
meeting.
personal notes to your employee?
Absolutely. So there's still 9 seconds left. And
Go ahead.
And guys, feel free to tell me to pause when. Yeah.
The break room. Because it says that you did it. I just was curious. It doesn't say how long it took you. I was just curious.
It takes me 2 minutes to get from the break room to MRI. Obviously.
Okay, so that was that.
A lie.
Oh yeah. Why is that a lie?
It's go ahead. Oh, I can.
You can. Yeah,
It's a lie because so there is a main hospital, right? So we're in like this main hospital, and then there's a part of the hospital that's connected by like tunnels and skyways, basically, that was considered to be too shitty for patients to be in. And that is where our break room is. And it literally has cockroaches. So it was a 7-minute walk. I'm not shitting you. It had cockroaches. Like, we had to put our bags on top of something because they were like, the roaches will climb into your bag, and it was dead ass. So this break room that we have roaches in, they said that they walked from the main hospital to the roach infested part in 2 minutes, which is absolutely impossible.
You would have had to run.
Oh,
And it was taking you 5 minutes or whatever it was.
And the person who did it was pregnant. So you booked it? Pregnant?
Your waddling
Very
ass
pregnant.
was waddling all the way.
Waddling, like 8 months pregnant. You booked it? And they set it up so that their break room was like in front of, their office was in front of how we had to walk to our break room. Oh, and people might be asking, why do you need to go to your break room all the time? 1, she was on break. But 2, when you're not on break, if you're caught with idle hands, like God doesn't like, in the hospital, you can get written up and be in trouble. And remember how I told you that everybody's looking to get us in trouble because they think that we're not team players anymore because we won't stay on the runs? So if there's a downtime for even 5 minutes, you're heading back to Roachland.
Well, as people are giving you the side eye constantly if they see you smiling or laughing
no, literally,
together.
you laugh too loud, they're like...
No, that's exactly it. That happened all the time. Oh, they're lying about not being able to wait. They just want to go to the coffee shop and get pumpkin spice lattes.
Well, that's some white lady shit. I'm surprised.
But that's what they would place on us. They don't know what we do. They can't say blunt smoking. They don't know. That's what they say for the blacks.
Yeah.
Smoking blunts on their breaks.
They're out there smoking their Newports.
Yeah.
Cigarillos.
Blacks.
Blacks.
Swisher sweets.
All right, so we just got done with the break room timing that you challenged there.
She said, yeah.
Which was just a truly like putting him in check as in the chess.
Because I'm like, if we're gonna go there, let's go to hell. Let's take.
No, you were right.
Let's go to hell with a smile. I loved it.
You established that very early.
You got the same HR training they did.
Yes, yes, I was vetted by then.
So here is the next part.
Impressive?
Yeah.
That's on my regular walking rate. But regardless, that has nothing to do with what
I know, but I still was curious since it is in my file. I was just curious.
Yeah,
so that's why I asked.
So that has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now.
So I'm not allowed to ask the question?
No, you can ask.
Okay, that's what I was doing. I was just asking, so that's fine.
These are our notes.
Right. No, I just was asking. That's all.
Fine.
I was just curious.
I understand.
Right.
The way that you kind of came across was not very nice.
Well, no, because Christy is talking to me as if I'm not allowed to ask. And so I clarified, am I not allowed to ask about the notes regarding me, or am I?
I'm going to back you up just for a second. The way that you...
We're not talking about it. God damn it. Don't read the piece of paper I told you to read 30 seconds ago.
I'm done with that subject. Right.
These are our notes.
Right. No, I just was asking. That's all. I was just curious.
I understand.
Right.
The way that you kind of came across was not very nice.
Well, no, because Christy is talking to me as if I'm not allowed to ask. And so I clarified, am I not allowed to ask about the notes regarding me, or am I?
I'm going to back you up just for a second.
I'm gonna back you the fuck up. How old is that appropriate to say to? 6? Like, adults, you don't say that to adults. I'm gonna back you up. Like,
is this woman not your mother? I assume the whole time, based on her tone, that this is your mother.
Up.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Are we only 10 years age difference? I can't tell.
It's. I think it was. You gotta actually applaud your manager though at her ability to not say uppity, because she really wanted to say
She
uppity really bad.
Real close.
All right,
Really close.
Keep it going.
Yes. So, how long did it take you to walk from MRI? It says here that you did it.
It's a
Sometimes
question.
it come across as kind of snooty, doesn't it?
I'm not sure, but if we're going to talk about what comes across as snooty, I would say that I feel that both of you talk to all of us like that all the time. And so maybe I'm just reflecting what I'm getting, and I apologize if that's coming off a wrong way. But I mean, that's how I'm perceiving it. And I feel like, to be honest, I just kind of feel with all of this stuff that the vibe I get from you guys is that you guys kind of don't value me as an employee. And I feel like you kind of don't like value me as a person. And I feel like when an employee feels like that, that means someone somewhere is going wrong.
And
like, that's actually how I feel. It really hurts my feelings. Like, I've never felt like that, really, besides.
I have a right to feel good all the time.
That, you know what I love about this meeting is you knew the playbook and you used it.
Yeah.
You knew the playbook and you used it. You were like, oh, this is what we're doing?
Yep.
Oh, we're doing HR bullshit?
Yeah.
We're going to be cunts through HR? Well, I'm going to use all the HR buzzwords that make you feel afraid.
Yeah.
Everything but racist. Get it, bitch. All the buzzwords will go there.
They will.
You don't value me?
They're looking at it, no one's safe
It's
yet.
like Gen Z in a lot of ways took it too far because they act like they don't want to work at all.
Yeah.
But like, this shit was the norm.
Yeah.
Like, this also isn't okay.
Yeah.
Acting like
For
this
sure.
is not okay.
No.
Like, and they were banking on the fact that we needed this job and we
Yes.
were going to eat shit to keep
Needed
it.
the job, and we're young and inexperienced. They thought that we just didn't know anything.
We've been in the hospital through the fire for 4 years. Not you 3 years, but no.
I don't recall what you said, but there was a great part where you're hanging on to your anger where you said, and I think I have the right to ask that question. Like, your voice really.
I loved your white voice that you turned on.
Because you have to.
You do.
Yeah.
If I do any other voice, it's the angry, aggressive black woman.
Yeah.
So you have to play their game on their level.
You do.
Was it hard for you to keep the chicken neck in check?
Yes, it was very hard. At that age, especially, I was very reactive. I was very hot-headed. It was very hard.
Yes.
But I knew, I was
You're
like,
actually
you
very
guys,
controlled in it.
That's the most controlled I had been in my entire life, I think.
Yeah.
Were you
At the
shaking
time.
in your
Yes,
body?
I was. Yeah, my voice was shaky a little bit and cracking. If you don't know it, normally you wouldn't know. But Javae was like, "No, I can hear you. You're like literally shaking."
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the next part.
Because you also know.
The way I just spoke to Christy, she speaks to all of us like that all the time, sometimes worse in my opinion. But I'm being called snooty by my manager because I asked a valid question.
I said your remark and the way you came off was inappropriate.
You used the word snooty, and I just felt, I'm sorry. I just was talking, so I just was. Do you want me to wait?
We didn't listen to this part.
Did we listen to the snooty one?
I mean, that's
She
this
did,
one.
yes. She said, because then I said, well, since we're going to be saying what's snooty.
Okay,
yeah,
got it.
Yeah, yeah. And now is the great part here.
But she tried to deny it at first, but then she was like, no, I did say that.
Oh,
Okay,
fuck.
so-
Yeah, I'm going to back this up just a tiny bit
Go back.
because there's a great...
Yeah, we quit.
Okay. No.
We're snooty. I'm just expressing my feelings to you guys right now, and I just would like that you receive them in an open-minded manner.
Take a step back to you asking me how long it took me to walk.
Because I was curious, because I totally was like...
And maybe you don't, and remember when we talked about this before, when we spoke about the eye cares and how you come across to people is not necessarily what you're meaning to portray.
Absolutely.
That is the scenario right now, is the way that you just asked that question, it was in a rude manner. It wasn't a question.
How is it rude? I was genuinely curious to know. So how long did it take since you went and walked it and didn't tell me? I was curious.
Right.
How long did it take you? I'm just curious.
Right.
What is wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong.
How
with
would
your
you
curiosity.
have expected that I asked that better? Just for my own.
I don't expect you to ask it in any other way other than the way that you ask it. But if you ask it in a certain way, you're going to get a response. And our response is that it was inappropriate.
And I'm not understanding how that was inappropriate.
I'm sorry, I can't play back a recording so you can hear how you asked it.
I actually
but
have-
we're telling you that the way you asked it was inappropriate. It's simple as that. There's nothing more that we need to talk about it. I answered your question, and now we can move on from it.
It's the best question.
Yeah.
I love that question. I throw that question to people all the time. Tell me how I should have said it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you
can't.
coach me on my tone?
Can
Right.
you coach me on my niggerishness?
You're like, you black
All right, here you go. That was awesome.
I was really out of my body, contrary to what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I was very out of my body, and I was like,
Why do you think you were out of your body? What was bringing you there?
What was bringing me there was the double teaming.
Yeah.
Because if you remember at the time, only one was doing most of the work and the other one was just MIA. So they kind of had whatever.
And being isolated in a room and
right.
in like
telling
that.
me I don't need a rep.
It's an ambush.
But this is definitely like you need a rep and an HR for this type of smoke, what they're coming to me with. So I just the whole thing.
I feel like also what puts you out of your body was that they weren't actually looking for any understanding or explanation.
No.
They just wanted you to eat shit.
Mm-hmm. And wanted me to be intimidated and wanted me to be,
Like, because really, I'm really think about the decision as a manager. Like, now that I'm in any kind of position of power, I'm not even a manager, but I do have power. Like, I could fuck up people's feelings and emotions and lives by just by simply sharing information. By simply telling somebody something they don't know, I could ruin their day, right? Just because of how much info I have. It's true. And so imagine being in like a position of power and being like, we could just print off the things we're going to talk to her about, but let's print off all the ammunition so that she knows we could have did her dirtier.
And let's go over it in painstaking detail, like bit by bit.
And that it like puts anyone in a position of feeling like the other shoe's going to drop.
You're
like
on trial.
They're letting you know you're on trial.
Yep.
And that you should be grateful you're not farther along.
Yeah.
And it's a really backwards way to cover up not having HR involved. Because not having HR involved, they were trying to be like, we're doing this casual. But what you're really doing is I'm getting it without support or eyes on me.
Right. So that if you make a next move, it'll be easier for you to just do what you're going to do because you're going to be like, well, she didn't have a rep.
Yeah.
Well, she signed the paper.
Yep.
We have like 12 seconds left of this one.
Okay, go.
You can hear how you asked it.
I actually
but
have-
we're telling you that the way you asked it was inappropriate.
Inappropriate.
And it's simple as that. There's nothing more that we need to talk about it. I answered your question, and now we can move on from it.
This is over, you fucking bitch.
Telling me when we're going to move on is wild.
Yeah.
We're in a meeting having a conversation together. That's the kind of shit that feels like you don't respect me as a human.
Yes.
You telling me when we're going to move on is crazy. Yep. You didn't tell me, do you have 30 minutes in your team's calendar for this? I'm sorry you didn't plan out more. But this isn't a formal meeting. You pulled me off the floor. I was doing
in
jobs.
the middle of my shift.
I was helping my coworkers. I was taking care of clients, and you pulled me out of that to have this conversation. And now you're trying to manage the time.
Mm-hmm.
I actually hear that as an era thing. Like truly not so much it is disrespect for sure, but it is like, to me, that's me growing up, right? Any job, if someone's above you, they just get to talk to you like that. Like it was like from that era. It's just crazy.
That's a no for me. That's a no for me.
Yeah.
And I was joking when Joe came on last week, the police officer, we had him on, like, every job hates him. And I said, like, well, me too, because I won't be treated like shit.
Yes.
Like, you're not going to treat me like shit. I literally went and got a master's degree to not be treated like shit.
Literally, to not
so
kiss
that
ass.
I could be like, I can go get another job and mean it.
Yeah.
Like, it's a non-issue. Like, I won't be locked into being treated like this specifically from this fucking job.
Yep.
Oh.
Period.
All right, we got 3 left. So this is the, whatever, third to last.
Yes.
So we're here now talking about attendance. This has completely gotten off topic. So we need to now regroup and focus back on our attendance. So you know what the attendance policy is, correct?
I do, yes.
Okay. So moving forward, we'll be moving forward to the corrective action process if we do not uphold the attendance policy. So the next occurrence that you received will move into a verbal written. From
Right.
there, it will go to a written. From there, it will go to, I'm assuming.
Suspension, probably.
Verbal written's not a thing.
No.
A verbal written's not a thing.
No.
You either get a verbal or a written.
Yeah.
And the only way you can move into corrective action after a meeting is if it's a verbal meeting.
If you already had all
If
those
you
other
got a
things,
verbal.
yeah.
So the verbal is the coaching.
Yeah.
Like they made it
They
one.
mashed it
They
together.
meshed two meetings into one.
They're not big on details for themselves.
I guess not.
No.
They meshed the two meetings into one. So what it's supposed to be is you're supposed to do a coaching. So you're supposed to pull someone. You're not supposed to wait until they fuck up for 2 months. You're supposed to pull
No.
them after the first fuck up and
Yeah.
say, listen, this is how it showed how disingenuous they were. They waited for everybody until they built up what they thought was ammunition. And this is how bad it is when you're in an echo chamber. This is why being in an echo chamber is a problem. These two managers talked to each other for I don't know how long, and they both thought they had all the ammunition. They both thought they had all the right evidence. They were on the right page, and it was because they were only talking to each other.
Yeah. Yep.
We're
weren't-
going to dog
That
walk this
part.
bitch.
Yeah,
Like,
no, literally.
And so, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully that would
You
be
know
the-
where the
right.
process is.
Yep, I do.
Okay, so we need to keep that in mind that we're punching in on time. Anytime after your punch, so if you start at 2 o'clock and you punch in at 2:01, you are considered to have up until 1:55 to punch in for your 2 o'clock shift so that we're punching in on time. That's your window. You also have a 5-minute window outside of your end time to punch out. So if you end at 1:30, you punch out at 1:35. You understand how all of that works?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. If we are not conversing in a way that is comfortable with you, then that's something that you definitely need to come and talk to us about. So I apologize if I am not approaching you in a way that makes you feel comfortable. And I'm sure Jen feels the same way. It's something that we'll have to work on. So I appreciate that you are communicating that with us. I'm upset that after 2 months, this is the first time I'm hearing this from you. I've been here for 2 months. And if I recall most of my conversations, unless they have to do with attendance or not responding to jobs or pages and things like that, I think I speak to you pretty politely, and I'm usually very cordial. I don't have anything against you. I don't have anything against anybody in this department. I just am here to be a manager and do my job, just like you're here to be a patient transport staff member and do your job.
Javae, go off.
Well, so what was coming up for me while she was talking was this notion that it wasn't personal, and it was very much personal.
Very.
And also this notion that nothing you're saying is valid. You're not actually upset. You're just saying these things because you're in trouble and you're trying to get out of being in trouble. And that to me is like how police officers act when they pull me over and I'm afraid. Like it's,
Oh my God.
I'm genuinely afraid. Just like I'm genuinely offended. I'm genuinely upset. And the notion that like we're causing harm to other people because we're 5 minutes late is insane. It's fucking insane. It makes everything else unserious.
Well,
No, literally.
what really fucking pisses me off is the fact that you didn't tell her earlier. And that is like,
How dare you tell her
What
she's
the
not
fuck?
approachable?
I'm the one who, I am fucking nice to you. And you didn't tell me right away. It kind of pisses me off.
And it's just like the flip. And like, when I say like this is white woman shit, what I mean by this is like every race, every person has their own version of like how they're shitty to other people. But it's only white women that talk with this level of entitlement mixed with victimhood. It's insane to watch the combination flow through their veins. Like it's fucking in their DNA, just like pumping through their body. Like
if you graphed this, like what stage she's in between victim and nice, like
they passed each other on the chart. They were
In
going
every
this
clip.
ways and they eclipsed each other. She's a victim and she's entitled in the same thing.
In every
She's
clip.
a victim of her own behavior, but she can't think that, so she's a victim of you.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm
And the
trying to be nice to you, but man, it fucking pisses me
Well,
off. that
and
you
she
don't tell me.
admitted in this voice memo that like or in this recording that she is usually nice.
Yeah.
And that she admitted she mostly talks to you when she's reprimanding you. And I just want to know like why it's your fault that she's not approachable.
Yeah, that's been lost on me. For sure.
And the older I get, I look at people 10 years younger than me as children. Like
no, literally.
there's no way that I'd be pulling a 20-year-old into a meeting like they're a peer. There's no way.
No.
There's just no way. And I'm not saying you have to baby them and like you don't give them the write-up. But
you
I'm
don't
not
push their face into soup or anything like that.
I don't get out of my body about a 20-year-old not liking me. That's really the part that I lose respect for. Like, it's one thing to talk down to somebody, like you're kind of shitty for taking advantage of your position of power. But more importantly, like, I judge you if like somebody have like, 10 plus years younger than you can make you like get out of your body to the point you're out of control. And like, obviously that's different when you're 40 and they're 30 or whatever, but like somebody in their early 20s can make you get this upset. I'm judging you. It's like the therapists who come in and care if the kids like them. Like, I'm judging you.
Girl.
I don't know if you heard her breathing at that one part too, but like, the lady started trying to like control her breathing, like, which is a very white woman thing too, by the way. But that's the whole
it's the entitlement victimhood cross because no other race of women, they get to be entitled, but they don't get to be victims. Mm-hmm. There's no other race that gets to do that. It's that cross of like, I'm a victim of you because you're offended by my entitlement.
Yes.
It's insane.
It's almost like narcissism has run amok in the community. But anyway.
It's not even narcissism. I really think a majority of this is entitlement. And I think it is like how it's entering into power struggles. And to me, like, I don't respect you if you like are entering into power struggles with people that you shouldn't care.
You shouldn't.
You didn't think anything about me.
It's trying to win every scenario in every interaction at all through any means possible.
Well, lets me know you feel like a loser.
Yeah.
Because if you have to win all the time, you feel like a loser.
Well, their whole day is holding meetings, talking to people about being 5 minutes late.
I mean, it didn't have to be.
It didn't have to be.
They could also, and this is the thing that people don't get, you could create an environment at work that feels like a community, and then people feel guilt and shame for fucking off.
Yes.
That's also, you can do it the other way.
Yes.
You can be such a human, you can be such a good person and such a human that people feel bad about taking advantage of you. And the people who are always going to take advantage are going to do it regardless, and they're going to fuck themselves regardless. Right. Like, if I'm really such a shit employee and I call off all the time and I'm super late all the time, like, I'm going to get fired regardless. You don't need to do all of this. If you create a community at work where people feel like they're a part of something that matters, they'll want to show up because they feel guilty letting you down. That is such a bigger motivator than fear and shame. Yeah. Fear and shame makes people avoid work. It makes them feel sick about going to work. They don't want to go to work. They don't want to show up for you. And when you're constantly nitpicking people, even when they're doing the right or wrong thing, they want to do the wrong thing more. It feels like you don't like me anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then you get some control back too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Like, like even you in this meeting, like being an asshole, like that's your version of like, and you did a great job. You match them in a lot of ways.
Oh, you're a huge cunt when you want to be.
It's great.
That was a professional cunt too.
Oh no, you actually are fucking great at it.
I'm just as good.
See me now.
I know you're also that way, Javae.
We're besties for a reason.
I bet.
You see us argue.
All right, we got, and I was wrong. We have to.
And the reason I didn't come to you about it is because, one, it's petty. I'm here to work and here to take care of patients. I'm not here to talk about who speaks this way to who. It's just not that important to me. But right now, in this instant, because I was getting called Snoody, I was like, well, no, that's not fair. Because, like, for example, there was an incident where I was in here and you were telling me, like, get to your break faster. And you were talking and I was like listening. I was like, okay. And then like by the second time I said, okay, you like laughed. You literally went, I'm not done talking. And I was like, I'm just listening. Like, there's a lot of passive aggressiveness that happens, in my opinion. And I just feel like
when that happens, I just feel like not understanding each other.
I just feel like there should be a conversation about that. And we had a brief conversation, but it was very awkward and it didn't settle anything because it's still happening. And I'm not the only one in the department that feels that you come off very passive aggressive. Okay. I'm not. I promise.
That's okay. That's fine. People can feel that way.
I'm just saying, if you guys think it's important.
But what other people feel right now in this situation, it means nothing to me. Right now, we're talking to you. We can come and talk.
Whoa, I don't remember saying that.
And just earlier,
I just want you to know you gutted her, by the way. She did give a fuck what other people think. Do you want any more to drink?
She did. Yes, please.
She does care what other people think.
Yes, she did.
Wasn't she just apologizing earlier for making you feel any type of way?
I'm sorry if.
And other people think don't matter.
Within 2 minutes later. I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks.
You tell me if other people is Javae
Bro.
right fucking now.
The one thing I remember from about her specifically is her eyes. Just it was just like this constant.
Oh yeah.
This.
I also remember that she was taller than me.
Yes.
And I'm pretty tall.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And she was wide. Like, she wasn't overweight, but she was a biggin. She was
Bitch,
a big
you built
Minnesota. Like she was on the, like, farm bred. You
It'd
know
be
what
a close
I mean?
fight.
Yeah.
You're saying, yeah.
I think what? It'd be no, I fuck her up.
Okay.
Well, she was clearly
It's
used
the
to
south side
intimidating
trashing me.
people.
If I start losing, I'm grabbing chairs,
Anything.
I'm grabbing bottles.
Elbows.
I don't
You're
care.
a biter.
Hammers.
I'm a what?
I said you're a biter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the trash in me. Sorry. We're both going out bloody,
Yeah.
bitch.
All right, 9 seconds left.
That's
So
obvious.
they can come and
So-
talk to me if they have.
Well, I don't think
problems.
you're approachable, especially when I'm getting like pretty much shut down because I'm voicing my opinion about how I feel like I'm not valued by my
You're not getting
superiors.
shut down. We're just not. We need to stay on track. Is what needs.
Sad. Well, because also now, we cut them into clips, but now we're like 10 minutes into them being like, I don't give a fuck what you think about anything.
Literally.
Yeah.
Berating.
All
All
right.
right.
Dispensed with any whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to your example because this is good. You're bringing me an example, so I can reflect on that. So you're talking about the situation when you were in the break room with Javae and you had finished a job. So this was, I think, 12 minutes from MRI, coming from MRI, completing your job in MRI, going back to the break room. So I went in there to do some.
Oh, she couldn't fucking wait.
Javae.
The first time I met her, she hated me.
Oh yeah.
She was doing a meeting in the break room in our roach infested break room about this kindergarten ass whiteboard she made for all of us that with a bunch of petty rules. And I walked in with like hair damn near down to my ass and like just really
just freshly
stressed,
blown out,
just blown out, long
silk
down.
press.
And I had like this big like these Ray-Bans on and like
Big
this
chunky scarf that was in at the time.
Yeah, and I was just like super like I like walked in and I was like,
Their
what's
coffee.
going on? And it was totally like I'm showing out for the guy I'm sleeping with at work, not you, but no fucks given. She like was like, this cunt.
Who is this
bitch? And I'm like, yo, this isn't for you. And ever since then, we literally never. So when Patrice and I left, she did a joint going away party for us.
Oh, wow.
And she literally did nothing. I think we got like a joint basket with snacks from the gift shop.
Yeah, it was like
Actually,
it was like
fucking
a potluck of
diabolical to
snacks.
throw a party but do nothing for it.
Yeah, everyone brought snacks that they had in their car.
Holy shit. That's actually next level. Like, oh yeah, I'm actually throwing you a party. Like, what?
She's mad.
here's
We
some
were both going to better jobs in the hospital.
Yeah, in the same.
So not only could they not fire us, but we both had upgraded our jobs.
So they would still have to see us in the hospital.
Right. All right, here we go.
Coming from MRI, completing your job in MRI, going back to the break room. So I went in there to do schedule work, and you were in there sitting with Javae talking, and that's when I talked to you about responding to your breaks, putting yourself on break quicker, because there was a 12-minute window, and I could even pull this up right now, this conversation, and the runs from when you completed your run. Hold on. So when you completed your run from MRI to a break room, it took you 12 minutes, and then you put yourself on break right after that. So my issue is that technically, we don't even get time in between our runs and our breaks. Your break would start from the time your run ends to the time from that time forward. So if your run ended at 2:33, your break would start at 2:34, and your break would then go 15 minutes. And we give you a grace period to get to the break room, to go to your, the cafeteria, whatever it may be.
So.
It's a grace period.
It's a grace period. So here's the thing that fucks me up about this job. Like as I'm hearing her talk about 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, we're literally fresh out of teenage years seeing people who are dying and
Yes.
and that we're connected to. Like the work we're doing isn't important, but the people we're coming into contact with are very sick, very unwell. It's very emotionally taxing.
Yes.
Like we would be with people literally when I say like you kind of broke rules a little bit with like how attached you'd get to some of the patients and you'd like bring them things to be nice and stuff, like the older ones who were dying or the younger ones who were dying.
I'd send, why are you sending gifts to the unit?
Yeah. And like, especially there was a guy our age that died.
Ooh.
And like,
that was messed up.
Yeah. He'd been there for years on and off too. We like knew him. Like
he would leave and come back.
He would get out. We like, hey, you're getting better.
Yeah.
And then he'd come back. And so we're dealing with that as like kids with no support. Our first real job besides like retail or something shitty like that or serving or whatever.
Yeah.
And like not only are we not getting any emotional support for like the people we care about that we're working with dying, but we're getting pulled in about this shit.
Yeah.
Like constant.
Yeah.
Yes, please play the tiny violin. And on top of that, we weren't making shit.
Actually, so that's what I was going to say here is like all of this is about saving that hospital about $10.
Literally.
It's like
If
minutes.
even that.
Right.
Even that. Not even
If
that.
even that.
Not even that.
God.
And the reality is like the hospital wanted us to be grunt workers. They didn't wanted us to be people who were busy and had to leave. They wanted us to be the first person waiting and the last person there because we had the least important job. You better wait for the ICU nurse who's saving lives. You better wait for the respiratory therapist who just helped somebody else be intubated or they were going to die. Like, you're nothing.
Yeah.
You better wait. And so they were really fucking us.
Yeah, they were.
Because they weren't letting us act like the grunt workers we were. Like, we all knew how to fall in line, and they literally weren't letting us.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were calling us and being like, you better not argue with this person.
Yeah.
And then using any ammunition from that person complaining about us to get rid of us. Like, it was the biggest loss of all time.
They wanted you to be flannel Javae and just do your fucking job.
Flannel Javae.
And then when we left, they got I know.
Sorry, I'm dead.
And then when we left, they got access to like iPods that they gave everybody so they could track our location as we were walking through the hospital.
Yeah,
So
I
that
forgot
was
about that.
probably hell.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So not just calling in, now we're tracking. But anyways, let's finish it
Waste
off.
of our money.
But then when we talked in here, you just quickly kind of went like, okay. Like, you just, like, it was obvious attitude that you were upset that I was talking to you about this.
How is it
you didn't.
obvious attitude if you're not me and you don't know how I'm feeling or thinking?
Okay. Again, this is about perception.
And your perception now, to me, I feel like, you're doing a lot of this,
Right.
and I just feel like, how is this fair? How is
Okay.
it fair at all? And no one else is here to witness this. It's just you two.
That was
That
you
sigh.
winning.
Yeah.
You getting our manager to sigh like that was you winning.
Ah, you fucking bitch.
Black bitch.
Black bitch. All right, here's the last one. You've just, let's just set the tone of the table here. You've just exasperated them. Like, you sort of won. They won't allow that to enter their head, but you did.
No.
I'm just as frustrated as you, Christy. I'm just as frustrated.
I think this is getting a little out of hand.
It is.
I'm going to say right now we're going to stop talking.
Of course.
If you want to bring our union steward to have someone to sit here with us, I would.
I don't know if that's worth their time to come and listen about how I feel like my bosses don't really respect me or value me.
You pay them out of your paycheck. So
This isn't the right last one.
Their time, because that's what you're paying for. It's no different than you coming to the doctor.
The right, that was the part we were supposed to cut out.
This part is? We might have fucked it up.
Yeah.
We'll see, though. Hang on. But
Okay.
yeah, let me keep.
Doctor. It's no different than going to the dentist. It's no different than buying a product at a store. You are paying for the union, so if you feel like you need the union present, you can have the union present. It's not about their time. That's what they're getting paid for.
Right, but to bring them in to talk about how I feel like my bosses are being perceived by me, it's like it's something that's nothing can be done about it. You guys are in the position you're in, I'm in the position I'm in. It just is what it is. But I just thought that I would be respected enough to let you know my feelings and have you guys be like, wow, I'm sorry that you feel that way. And
I think I just actually apologized to you about how you
but
felt.
the energy is still very aggressive. But you know what? You guys talk to me about the tardies. I won't be late another day that I work here, and hopefully I can just get out of your hair and not be a stress to you too while you're at work.
Okay.
So.
Well, besides this topic, we have another thing that we need to talk about, and you're probably not going to like this, but it unfortunately needs to be discussed. We've noticed that between you and Javae, that you guys are holding off on your runs to then pick up assists with each other. It actually just happened today.
What do you mean hold off?
You're either not completing your run right away, waiting for the other one to complete so that the other one can pick up the run. You've been on multiple assists we could pull up all of your jobs for the past 2 months, and you've been on multiple assists with each other.
We're on to you, Black. You know what you're
No,
up to.
literally. Even though we're completing twice as many jobs, as everyone else.
I really wanted to end on that one because one, the second half is just more nonsense, and like even Gabe said we could come back and talk about it again if we wanted. But I really want to end on that because I feel like it really sums it up, which is that like they literally sat you down. They said, stay on topic. The topic is attendance. And then they had a whole second topic.
Yep.
And they also had already told you like you should probably have a union rep here. And then they still wanted to move on to another thing to reprimand you about. The mental hoops in gymnastics. And that's why recording the thing I know is like for your own sanity because it's for you to come back and replay because you replay it in your head so many times. You start to wonder if what you're telling yourself is real.
Yep.
Everyone should. So, and I'm going to throw this out as a PSA because I learned this doing this documentary. Minnesota is a state that you can record without the other person knowing legally. Phone calls too. You can't do it if they're in another state, so you got to like know that.
Yeah.
But people, they're free. There's a free app that's really great, like Rev Call Recorder, I think it's called.
Okay.
They can't tell that you're like you dial into it and then it calls them, but the other person doesn't know. It doesn't change what shows up on their phone. It's awesome. You should do it all the time.
Oh yeah.
Because you're in control of it. You use it if you need it. You don't if you don't.
Legal.
Yep. Absolutely. Particularly when calling white women. No. A certain type of.
Which a disclaimer, we don't dislike all white women. There's a lot of great.
I'm
white
related
women
to many.
I'm related to many.
Patrice isn't, but I am too. Patrice is not related to any. Lucky her. But I am, and I love a few of them dearly.
We love the ones we love.
We love the ones we want. No, and I truly mean it. Of like, it's the intersection of entitlement and it's the intersection of entitlement and victimhood that is specific to white women. It's not that other people aren't entitled. It's not that other people aren't victims, but it's the level at which it intersects and the way in which they just like flow through both.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're able to like behave in a way that's entitled and turn on I'm scared, afraid, and offended at any point, and people believe both. Yes. Both are true. Of course you earned this and deserve your entitlement, and of course you're really a victim. Like, both are believed by society. That's why they're able to get away with it. I'm sure if another race, everyone was believed by society, they'd be doing the same shit, but they're not. And so, like, you get into these HR meetings where they're attacking you and they're afraid of you and they're a victim of you, and it's, like, so discombobulating because you're trying as, like, a black woman to be like, I want to defend myself and not come across as aggressive and not be a pushover, because you also know that if you agree to letting them treat you like this, there's only more coming down the pipeline. Yeah. You're kind of stuck. Like, there is no win. Anyways, thank you.
Oh, what a good show.
I know, this was a good one.
It was great. Thanks, everybody.
It's the end of the weekend, but I still wanna turn up. Yeah, I still wanna turn up.
MBC. No relation to NBC.